open for they didn't open till about a month ago.
What state did they do it in?
That's in
Not in
Cali.
Florida. Is it in Cali? I thought it was in
That's
Florida.
Cali.
Whoa.
Yeah, they can't do anything Marvel related on Disney property in Florida because
Why?
of the
What the
agreement
hell?
with Universal.
Oh, you're right.
It makes sense.
I completely
So-
forgot about Islands of Adventure. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Spider-Man, Hulk, and everything. Yeah.
To
Wow.
bypass that, the only thing that they're doing is they're doing Guardians of the Galaxy
Ah.
at Epcot. But the ride is supposed to be crazy because it's the first roller coaster where the seat completely spins around while you're on it.
So
And
you
it's
tell.
spent close to $1 billion just on that roller coaster.
So you're telling me tornado projectile vomit just when people that's literally this is what it is.
But I will say that since I've been there recently and I've been on a couple of the newer rides, you do get your money's worth in
At
that
Epcot?
experience. Not necessarily Epcot because that's a brand new ride that it's not even open yet.
Oh, okay.
But like I went to Hollywood Studios and I did the Star Wars ride.
Ooh.
Where you do the Smuggler's Run.
Ooh.
Where you're in the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that with Ian. And yo, that was crazy.
Oh.
Then we did the Pandora ride. I don't know if any of y'all ever got to do that.
Pandora.
Yeah. You know they have the Pandora World over at Animal Kingdom.
Oh, no, I've never been to Animal Kingdom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So you get to ride on a Banshee.
Oh,
it's like a roller coaster?
It's like an experience. It's kind of like, have you ever been to Epcot?
Not for a while. Like
Have you
Universal
have you done-
Studios and Back to the Future, where it's like a
Okay,
screen and
it's
you're like,
like that.
whoa.
But you get on like a motorcycle. It's kind of like a motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
but you have your headset on, and then you feel like you're on the actual Banshee. So you feel it breathing.
Oh,
So you're sitting on it, and you feel it, and you feel it get faster when you do something crazy. You're going up and down, but it's not like you're in a car. You're on top of this thing, and it's moving.
That's like the PlayStation 5 DualSense. It does all that stuff.
Essentially. So yeah, you get that, and then so to go out there and go check out Avengers Academy, I'm all for it.
Oh, now I'm going.
So is it open right now?
Yes, it's supposed to be opening. I think
Probably
either
before the summer.
now or this week, or it's happening.
See, I want to go because I'm going to Cali, but I know those lines are going to be ridiculous.
Are they?
Well, no,
Yeah,
because
nobody's going to
they
go.
have what do you call it? A queue.
Capacity limit thing.
There's a capacity limit, and you have to. There's a reservation system, just like down here. So it's not going to be super packed. You just have to know how to, go to Disney. Like it's not like how it used to be where you could just, I'm just gonna show up and, I'll wing it. No, you gotta plan all the way through. You gotta use the app. You gotta buy your stuff on the app.
There's an app.
There's a My Disney Experience app. That's where you order your food. That's where you make your
photos.
reservations.
Everything
your photos,
is there.
Everything.
Wow.
So you have this. So you have this wristband that they take your pictures. They're basically tracking you, and then so any place you pass by, it's taking pictures of you. So you got that family experience if you pay for that package and everything. It's kind of cool because my buddy did it from work, and then so he was like, I didn't even bring my camera. All HD photos, all mine, all anything from the day.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I don't like that.
they do it all.
So you're like eating ice cream with your uncle. You're like, ha! And they're like, yeah, actually, I remember that. Get that picture.
It's crazy. But yeah, man, that's how you do it. And now they're trying to experiment with photo recognition for your past
that's
skin.
OD. That's OD. That's OD.
Yeah, they're doing a lot, but you know they were doing that testing when I was there a couple months ago. So it's something that you might want to consider. If you going, you better get on the app and learn how to use it. Because if not, you're gonna sit there hungry. You're not gonna get on nothing. You're gonna wonder why this experience suck.
Trying to stand in line. This is where I wait, right? And they're like, "You don't have the app, sir."
What
app is this?
You still have your flip phone? Like,
y'all need to see my wristband. Y'all need to see my sir. No,
I'll be
life
damned.
alert.
Like $150 just to get inside. I'll be damned. I can't go somewhere. You kidding me?
It depends on the day. It depends on the day.
Oh yeah, if you go on a weekend,
yeah, it's like 150 plus.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that per person?
Yeah.
Yep.
That's crazy, man. Even is there an age limit? Like even for like a toddler?
Nah.
Doesn't matter. Everybody pays, I think.
Everybody
pays.
3 and up, you pay that.
Yo, go. Can you move closer to the mic? Can you guys like put it in between y'all?
Yeah, but it's better.
You sound like a background character.
And we're thinking all this other stuff. So you never know. We don't know. A lot of these things are part of our imagination.
There was one video game like that, and I wish they would freaking reboot and make this thing again, because that Advent Rising, the concept was so good. It was like the way we talk about aliens, they talked about humans, and then when we show up, they're like, "Oh God, it's them." They're like, what do you mean? Yeah. We're just like, they have psychic powers. And then you're like, I'm just a guy. And then like in the game, you unlock this stuff, and it was actually true. And I was like, yo, this is amazing.
See?
You never know.
You never know. There's probably thousands of planets out there, and they're all thinking the same thing. Like, I wonder what's out there. You never know.
You know, there's a theory that the galaxy is full of a whole bunch of dead civilizations because they advanced way too far into
and
technology,
burnt themselves up. That's wild. You know what? With nuclear warfare, people say we could do that to ourselves too. That's why that whole mutually assured destruction, they're like, just let one person attack, then it's a wrap. Terminator.
Speaking of nuclear warfare, there's a physicist. His name is John Brandenburg, right? And he figured out that, he theorized that Mars is dead because of a nuclear war.
How wild.
So his theory is that Mars used to be a highly advanced civilized planet, right? And the way he kind of figured that out, the way he at least figured out that Mars went through a nuclear war is because the Martian atmosphere has an abundance of an isotope that can only be present after a nuclear blast.
Wow.
And that's the same. Yeah. Yep. So, and he's legit.
He's not like a quack, crazy.
No, he's
History Channel at night.
He's let it, and it got to the point where like he had like people were trying to shut him up because
wow.
Yeah,
and it's like why shut that up? Like, you know,
watch them be like the same way they did Australians and British people is what they did to world criminals and sent them to Mars, and then once the nuclear bomb came out, they were like, yo, y'all want to test it out? Yeah, good, send it over there. And then they were just bombing people. You remember they had that one face imprint in the dirt? It was some guy trying to hide.
Yeah. The last one.
I think you guys are worried about talk to us. What's going on?
What you mean?
Okay, so we have an idea that there's a good chance that they possibly are here, right? if you were to ask that one question, what's the deal? Are they really here? Or whatever. My question is simple.
Mhm.
How many of us have been banging in the
Would that be crazy?
Oh wait, you mean like they've been walking amongst us in human form,
That would
just
be
hiding
wild.
like that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I want to
But
know.
who's
Because you know what? I remember
Shapeshifters.
as a kid, I don't know if y'all, everybody remember that, but there would be these shows that would come on TV and these documentaries of how these people would be
Yeah,
abducted,
fire
white
in
people
the
would get abducted,
sky.
and aliens did whatever to them. And remember Fire in the Sky when they were, probing and doing whatever? Everybody was scared of getting probed. And you knew it was a big thing because universally everybody was scared of getting probed. Even made it into porn. Well, you see, there's a whole hentai section just for that.
Wait, there's a category that's specific, like hentai, alien probing.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
Yes,
I'm not surprised.
The tentacle porn.
Tentacle. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
yes.
technical.
There's also you can also go on Amazon and get your own if you want.
Oh, Lord.
But we ain't gonna get into that.
Strike that at 4:55. Mark that. Mr. B of.
They call the probe is basically.
But the only reason I brought it up is like, there's been this fascination and real curiosity. People want to know, like, how have we been doing that? And if we haven't been doing that, are we gonna do it?
Oh my God! Well,
Yo, the Viltrumites.
It's been happening.
I love it. I'm reading the comics every night. I'm like 9 books ahead. Amazing.
Oh, word?
It's 25 books.
Oh, word?
It finished like in 2015, I think. So this first season covers, I think, book 1 and book 2, I believe, and then I'm on like 9 now, and I'm like, this is amazing, really well written.
How closely does the TV
they changed some stuff around, story wise, and even characters. The best friend isn't gay. They just joke around about being gay. Like that's their inside joke. Like they'll do something and they'll be, how people used to do before you're like, son, that's gay. Like nigga, no, that's gay. It's like they did that. Like that was their thing. And then Amber is white. And yeah.
Okay. I figured that. I figured
they wokify everything. I'm even mad at the white people now. Stop wokifying everything.
Yeah, it does nothing. Like they could have kept her white.
Diversity.
Exactly. Yeah, they could have kept her white. It would have been like he still likes the character Amber. Like it's just so yeah. But really, really good. Shout out to Robert Kirkman. That's the guy who wrote Walking Dead as well. So brilliant guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So these are all graphic novels.
There's some crazy scenes in there. I seen some crazy stuff.
It
gets wild in there.
I couldn't wait for season 2. I was like, nah, I'm reading. I'm reading this.
Yeah, I'm interested.
That's what's up.
But you could technically Superman is an alien story.
Not technically.
Yeah, it is.
And he sleeps with Lois.
See, I want to know what's up with the kids. I want to know what's up with the kids. Yo, if they have been here, have any of them created any kids? Like, what are they walking around? What are they doing? Hybrids?
All the Olympic
athletes. They got special powers?
Or do aliens? Yeah. All right, that's all I'm saying.
I think if you over 6'7",
yo,
LeBron's in here.
You ever see somebody with 6'7" walk by?
Yeah,
walk by
too tall for their own frame.
You ask him a question, there's like a 2-second delay.
Looking like Bigfoot, yo.
No, I know, that's a thing that people are like, oh yeah, that's
terrifying.
so hot. Like,
that's
no,
what it is.
that's so slow. Ask them something that they need to think about and watch how slow they answer back.
That's because it just takes a little longer.
Strike that. That's at 8 minutes and 30. Mr. B from certain.
We're gonna get canceled for anti-tall, anti-height,
heightophobic. Yeah, that's it. That's it.
Vertical phobic. You know.
Look at their kneecaps. We don't like that. How your shin bone as long as an 8-year-old's arms? That don't make no sense. Like, oh.
See, he can reach the top of the cabinet with his fingers. I don't like that.
Isn't that just weird? Isn't that just weird? I mean, those people, they're walking around grabbing things, and it's just like, no.
The top of the shelf. You don't like that.
The audacity. It's a waste of resources.
Waste of materials.
Why are you here?
People over here.
Yo, I used to always separate two tall people that stood next to each other while standing next to you. I used to do that shit for real, yo.
Feel like this, son.
Yo, yeah, man. Yeah, I did that shit. I'm like, nah, that shit make me nervous, man. I don't like it when tall people stand. Two motherfuckers stand like, nah.
And they're gonna pick you up. They're each gonna grab your hands like you used to do with kids and swing you. Woo!
You know,
to get swung like a child between two tall people. Oh,
yo, you want to see me angry? When a tall person will pat your head, like, oh, hey, what's up? How you? No, don't you dare! Don't you dare!
There was this Just for Pranks thing where they were in funerals, and then so they had two tall people come next to the short guy, and they look over. And they just both laugh at each other and stare at each other like,
nah.
And they just like look out. The guy just looks so it's like, oh,
ruined my day.
It's so wrong. So all I wanted to do was get the bathroom.
One thing you barely made it. You're kind of tall here, sir. So you barely made the acceptance of us around here. Yes, you.
Borderline.
I'm barely in the 6 feet.
You kind of tall.
I'm barely in the 6 feet club. So yeah.
Really? You sure you're right? 6'1"?
Just 6.
Of course.
No, he's in the tall man
club. What's up, ladies? How y'all doing? I laugh with my tongue out my mouth all the time. Or if anybody do that, red flag. Red, green, blue. You don't laugh like regular people. Nah, you out of here.
Get rid of them. I don't talk to you no more. You do that.
Oh my god.
Oh god. Oh, I got an interesting hypothetical for y'all.
Yeah.
If you could record with HD 4K quality 2 hours of any historic event, what would it be? I already know mine.
Ooh.
Yo, hey.
Ooh. Yeah, word. That's gonna be ugly. That's gonna be ugly.
I don't mind seeing some late man get their heads chopped off. No, I don't.
I don't want to see it. 2 hours.
2 hours?
2 hours. What would I see? I have to think about that.
Go ahead.
Easy, got it.
Ooh.
Birth of Jesus.
Ooh.
It would answer all questions.
Oh, yes.
And make everybody upset all
You're
at
right.
once.
But the manger! You said it was a manger! And then meanwhile, it's in like somebody's house or something. And it's like, there was no wise men. It was just this guy named Charles here, you know. He gave us some goat's milk. And then that would make people tight.
Yeah.
Joseph was upset because Ricky, the neighbor, was the guy.
Laugh with his tongue out every time he said what's up to him. What's up, Joseph?
I'm married.
How you
What's
doing?
up, man? What's good?
How you doing?
Why this baby
Figure
look
out how
like
she got
Whoopi?
figure out she
And the 2 hours of footage to support it. Oh,
Joseph told you.
in the
And then this is a
argument.
back and forth between. That would be ill.
Oh my god.
Oh,
I
it would
I know
squash
mine.
everything.
Yeah, that would.
The building of the pyramids. Go ahead. Let me see. Let me see. I'll get it up there. Go ahead. Do it.
That, yo,
Oh shit! It was aliens.
I
It was
said that.
aliens for real.
I was
The
thinking
whole time. Okay, I'll
I'm
do
glad
another
you
one. I'll
stole
do
that
another
from
one.
me.
The Big Bang. How it all began. I want to see the
Mhm.
expansion of the universe, the creation of the rock planets, all that stuff. I want to see it. Like 2 hours. That would be very interesting. You know. So, and it would answer a lot of questions. Was it ever a bang? Was it just a? You know what I'm saying? Was it a slow roll? Exactly. That would be
I would.
terrifying. That would be terrifying to see.
Oh, now you said that. I want to kind of see what's in the black hole. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of different concepts about what's in a black hole. Because they say matter's supposed to just be squashed, but just imagine there is other life where it's a parallel universe, or that's like the teleport.
Yo,
It sucks you into something.
y'all,
So 2 hours of
y'all
what's
really
in
need to
there,
watch
HD
Interstellar.
close up.
That's the closest to HD footage
Yeah.
of what's going on inside black holes.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I have to watch that.
I still
Shout
haven't
out to
watched it.
Chris
I haven't
Nolan.
seen it.
No, it's on nothing.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, no Prime.
Oh, it's
No,
not.
Oh,
It should be on HBO Max. It's Warner Brothers. No,
no. I thought it was.
probably.
It's a
It's a
Nolan movie.
Nolan.
Yeah, you know Nolan gets down.
It's a Nolan movie. Probably. Yeah, it probably is a
I
Warner
think that
Brothers.
was one of his few movies where he just like hit one of his like
People didn't like it.
passion
Yeah, it was his
projects.
passion project. I bought the Wired magazine. Super nerd alert. I bought the Wired magazine that was just dedicated to that, and then he met with like a whole bunch of physicists and everybody talking about black holes and fifth dimension and fourth. Amazing movie.
Yeah, wasn't that movie the first real computer simulated like what you call it, computer simulation of a black hole, like the way actually the
Probably,
accurate
yeah.
depiction of it.
Yeah.
That was like the first time they actually put it
Mm,
together or something like that. I don't know. This movie
I
is
wouldn't be
super fun.
surprised.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh
Them
yeah.
spending the
And
money
this
to
is
make that
after
happen.
I think the Dark Knight trilogy. So he had the bread and the trust. So
Oh, yeah. By then he had God status with them to do.
passion project. Yeah, do whatever you want.
Mhm.
It's you.
Mhm.
Yeah, 300 mil. Go ahead.
That
I
movie
loved
was
it.
fire though, man.
I still have to see it. I've never
That movie
seen
was
it,
fire, yeah.
so I'll watch it in
Yeah,
4K
that's the
sometime.
problem. When I saw it like on like Fire Stick in 2013 or something, like in negative 240p.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And people were saying things. I was like,
You better
that was in the
be.
movie? They were like, yeah, you didn't see the ice clouds? The clouds of I went there. I was like, there was ice clouds? So I was like, yeah, I need to watch that again in 4K.
Speaking of which, I got that movie the other
Which
day
one?
that you guys were telling me about.
Mm.
The one where in Paris,
Which one?
the last tango in Paris or something.
Oh, with the rape scene.
Oh, the
I
Marlon
have-
Brando
Oh,
joint?
that
Yeah,
Marlon Brando.
Marlon Brando.
Oh.
Yeah, they don't. You can't stream it. You have to buy the DVD, and it just so happened that Amazon had it for
Wow.
$9. I have it here.
They had it on
I have the
Blu-ray?
Blu-ray.
Oh wow!
They had it on Blu-ray. I have it here.
You watched it?
That's
No.
gonna
No.
be for the
It's just sitting here.
Patreon
Well, you gotta watch
live
it.
stream
You gotta-
event where we all watch it together and commentate on it.
Yeah.
And
and become shocked
Shocked
together.
for real. There's a whole bunch of jacked up movies that they
Clockwork
made at that time
Orange.
that I'm finding out. Like, whoa.
You know, I
Still have to
tried
watch
to
that.
watch Clockwork
Nah, I
Orange.
don't wanna
I fall
watch it.
asleep every single time.
Can you please explain for new viewers and generation?
So
That's
Stanley
Stanley
Kubrick,
Kubrick.
yeah, man.
us. That's even
Kubrick. I'm probably saying it wrong. Yeah, Kubrick. I watched. I tried to. I got to 3/4 of The Shining, and was like, "What the hell is? What was the hype about this movie other than the clips? Yo, if it wasn't for the visual clips that stood out
Yeah.
as a film, as an entire film, it was like, what is this? But it's the famous clips is what
Yeah.
made that movie, yo.
And then the kid standing in the hall. Yeah, his visuals was wild.
Yeah. The visuals was dope, but as a film itself, it was. I'm like, yo, I don't understand the hype of this, so it piqued my curiosity, and I went and looked it up. Just looked up I think it was a think piece on it, and they were saying how at the time the movie wasn't well received, and people thought it had no story and was just all over the place. And I'm like, well, yeah, that clearly makes sense. But it was over time, other filmmakers, I guess, because the visuals were so striking, it became a big favorite and became better rated over time, and now one of the more beloved movies. But right when it was released, people didn't care for it, or I won't say everyone didn't care for it, but there was a time the consensus was, what the hell was this movie? Because that's what I was feeling when I was watching it. And I'm like, it's beautifully shot, it's cool, the visuals stick in your head, but as a story, as in pacing, I was like, what the hell is going on? Who's he talking to? But
Yo, I'm gonna have to completely agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
And you know what? And in reference to that, there was another movie that was similar that completely messed me up
The
for
Blair
years.
Witch
And I don't know if
Project.
you guys saw it or any of the other ones. Not well, that one absolutely, but that's a whole nother story. But the movie was Phantasm.
No, with the ball with the knives in it. Nah, I never seen them.
Yes. Oh, with the old man, and he was an old white
In a
male
suit,
with gray hair,
something
long
like
hair. He was an Undertaker in a suit, and he would chase you around the catacombs of a cemetery with this ball that would fly, and then it would jump at you. Had spikes in it. And I know when I'm talking about it now, you guys are laughing like, oh, whatever. But yo, when I saw that,
kind of Resident Evil.
That sounds like
I freaked out, and the man was just scary looking.
It sounded like
yeah, it was exactly in that wheelhouse, the late '80s, early, early exactly Hellraiser.
Yeah. And it came out around the same time as The Shining. And I can remember the reception of The Shining being like, whatever. But with Phantasm, the reception was so strong. They made like 4 of them back to back.
Really?
It was like a bunch of sequels, just like Hellraiser and Nightmare on Elm Street and Child's Play, Wishmaster, Puppet Master.
Oh my God, those movies are so terrible.
Now, at the time, I was sleep with the lights on, turn the hallway lights.
Yeah. It was legitimately scary.
There was one, The Dentist. I don't know if you remember.
Was it Dr. Giggles? No?
No, it was Dr. Giggles. It was actually called The Dentist. And there was 2 sequels to it. And he was like this crazy dentist that would, get his victims to come into his office, and then he would off them there, but he would jack up their teeth, their whole mouth.
Right before he did it.
This doesn't sound. Yeah, I was gonna say it sounds like a dental trip nightmare, but I don't think it sounds.
You would hear that drilling, and then it would show the tooth being jacked up, and then the blood. Oh, messed me up. Done.
I need to watch that movie.
Teeth.
Teeth. Oh yeah.
Wait, which one?
Teeth. Oh, that was a good one.
Teeth. We watched that one. Oh, Nikki and I saw that together.
Yes. Talk to me. What's this about? What is this about?
Teeth.
DB, I'll take that one.
Okay, who wants to explain this one?
Take that one, DB.
He ain't with it. He don't want to do it.
Basically, okay. Yeah, go ahead, Rich. Go ahead.
All right, so essentially there was this young girl.
All right, I'm
she
good.
wanted to lose her virginity, right? but she had a curse of some sort. I don't know if it was a curse that was put on her or some kind of magic thing or whatever. I don't remember. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but apparently she had her vagina would act out. And if it was something that was done in a violent way, like you were trying to rape her, the vagina would
Yo.
eat your penis, like teeth. Like it would be like
Oh
teeth, like
my
a canine
god.
teeth, and they would just jack your,
Well,
just
no,
rip it
I
off.
think it was just anybody that she got
Anybody
with.
that but she had to
Oh.
like you.
Yeah. No. I think you're mixing it up with the HBO show a little bit. But yeah, I think it was just anybody.
not
She
the
had the teeth,
HBO
right?
show. No, because she ended up having that one boyfriend that she
It
did
was
like,
fine.
and
Oh wow.
he didn't get bit
You
off.
didn't get it off.
But if she was uncomfortable with you, or if you tried to rape her, the vagina would
God.
respond and eat your junk.
I wish you know what? There was actually wasn't there like a
If I had that, they had this ability. It'd be a lot of problems
Okay.
would be resolved with cis.
Well, they
It was a
have that
special
with
condom they had,
what was
yeah,
that
girl
condom they
made.
have in Africa?
Yeah.
In Africa, yeah.
Wait, no,
Yeah, you
explain
put
this.
it
I've never
inside
heard
your
this.
canal, and
Yes,
then like if
yes,
it
you
if you're
Mhm.
getting raped, then like when he pulls out, like the spikes open up, and then yeah,
Oh.
to
you
get
gotta
it
go to
removed.
a hospital to
It's
get
hot.
the thing
Oh,
removed.
and they don't sell
Yeah.
this.
Yeah, they sell it. They sell it.
Well, they don't sell it
Everywhere.
here, but yeah, they sell it. They sell
Where
it
somewhere
to
it's
Africa.
that crazy.
Where
Yeah,
that
the
happens
rape was
often.
great. Yeah,
Yeah,
Good.
absolutely.
it's
Yeah.
crazy out there.
Shame.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with the war and stuff. The war
Dang,
is
man,
just-
rape is so bad. You gotta sell it.
Yo, literally,
What the
that's
fuck,
literally what it is.
Yeah,
Bear
Well.
trapping niggas.
that bad.
Bear track.
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. But
Yeah,
That's
it,
fucked
it's bad. It's bad. I mean, it's a shame that
Exactly.
need something
But I'm
like
glad
that,
it
but
exists.
hey, in the dark world where there are some messed up people, hey, at least you
There
got a
you
little
go.
buffer or something. So I ain't mad at it. That's crazy. I need to understand the machinations. How did they make that work? Because what if? Well, then again, it does raise some questions though. It's like, what if they like rough?
Oh no,
stuff
you're
and
stabbed.
then
You're
it
stabbed.
sets the
You're stabbed.
Yeah, you
It goes
you
in
going
fine,
rough.
but when you try to
You're
come back
finished.
out, rip. So it's like, yeah, you're done.
Yeah,
Oh, so
You get one
well,
pump.
yeah. If you have some pre-planned, if you get pre-planned cutty, you wouldn't use that. I guess that's what a chick would wear that if she's out in the street somewhere.
Exactly.
Right.
yeah. You know she's not dating or something. Yeah,
with that
Yeah.
old,
So he'll get in, but he ain't gonna
Yep.
like it once
When
he
he
try
come
to
out.
pull out.
Absolutely.
Good for him. Good.
Yeah.
Cripple
Yes.
his ass.
Mhm.
that also enables evil women who want to fuck with.
I didn't even think
Well.
about that. I did not even think about that. They trying to get back at the ex. Yeah, come on, Jenny. I got something for you.
That's wild.
You know what? Now you bring up an ethical thing that I never even thought of.
You see what I'm saying? This is
why
probably
we
this
don't
is
sell
probably
that
the
here.
way we're thinking is
Yeah.
why I bet you this would happen with the conception of the gun. It's like, you know what? You got to do something. There's these bears walking out here. You can't fight it. You got to do something. Then all of a sudden somebody's like, I'm gonna use that on my neighbor because I hate that guy. it's like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't think about it.
No, that's not what we.
That's not my intention.
I think the same thing happened with TNT.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was initially created
And
to
doing
help bring
mining,
down
like
buildings.
rocks. Yeah, you can't just pick at stuff
Yeah.
all day. It's
Mining,
like
gold
blow it
mining
all up.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and now it's used
Cannon
for all kinds of
fire.
horrible
And
atrocities.
it's like, oh god.
So basically, Earth is on its way to becoming Mars. That's what y'all are telling me. We are going to advance ourselves
are
to
gonna
our own
find-
apocalypse. That's what's going to happen.
What do you think this whole space race 2 is all about? You haven't seen the increase of all the people trying to get to Mars and all the satellites, and
I heard
you see they're even messing up and they're dropping into the Earth.
I heard Bezos is now trying to get into the space gig too now.
Yeah, he's been in it.
You see, he's been in it.
What's
Yeah.
his name?
You see, it's something to it. There's something to it. Either they're trying to get resources, or they just know that Earth is doomed somehow. I don't know.
Well,
Maybe they
you gotta
know.
Think about it. They do know that something's up when you have a literal waste that's sitting on top of
the trash island.
That's it's as large.
I need to see this thing.
Yeah, Trash Island is large as Texas.
Take a picture of it, or it doesn't
sitting
exist.
in the Pacific.
It exists. It exists.
I'm gonna Google it right now.
Oh, I believe it. When you think about all those tsunamis that go in and pull in things and then pull out things into the ocean, so I already know that there's a lot of junk just sitting in there. We know that, and then on top of it, if you've ever been to any place next to these areas, there's a lot of times they just throw stuff just straight into the water. Yeah, nobody even cares nothing about it. You look at the Dominican Republic.
Great.
Yeah.
They have their own little trash island in the middle of the beach.
That's what they call it. Son of a mother. That is disgusting, actually. What does it smell like? That's what I'm curious. That's what you think of?
That's what you're curious about? Of all things?
It's not stopping. Everything, every product gets tossed. Every time you have takeout, I remember I was joking with my sister. I was saying, every time we walk into the 99-cent store, everything in here is going to end up in a whale's stomach. Everything in here.
Dang, that's so good.
We don't need that shit.
Whales. It's true, though. Yeah,
it is true.
Well, you know what they would say? Even in the fish, there are little plastic particles that can be found. And I was watching NHK the other day, and they were talking about that. Because what ends up happening is that the plastics, they grind down into little fine pieces, and the fish are eating it, and now it's becoming a part of the fish, and we're eating it as well. Well, mostly the Japanese people, because they eat everything that comes out of that water. But essentially, I mean, anything. I saw it with my own eyes, in little baskets too, just sitting there in the market, ready to just go. You're like, you're not supposed to eat that. And then you sit there just grab it. It's done.
It's in the air too.
It's still fighting its way down their throat. No, and it's still going. They're eating it.
Nah.
But they're little particles of plastic that are sitting inside these creatures that now humans are starting to ingest. So we're even getting that,
and probably is going to slowly kill us.
Carcinogenic, probably.
Carcinogens. Messing up with your reproductive system, your vascular system, all of that mess.
Yeah, it's not a coincidence.
And I'm sorry. And the increase in dementia, Alzheimer's, I'm sure is connected to all the crap we're consuming and exposed to. Yeah. But anyway.
What was crazy? I was at the hospital after the birth of Ash, and I was just watching it was just the hospital, they have their own news channel or whatever, and they trying to always give you informative stuff, and they were talking about salt that you don't see. And they were talking about salt in cereal. There's so much salt in cereal that we don't even know about.
All cereal?
Yeah, my sister.
Salt.
Yeah.
Just in the processing of the stuff that goes into it, there's hidden salt in refining all that stuff. So even like in the sugary cereal that you'd find, there's salt in it that could easily raise your blood pressure.
Crazy.
And I was like, really?
Interesting.
In cereal, you wouldn't even think of it. You don't even taste it, but it's in the cereal.
No wonder.
You know what's the craziest one I saw or I heard? Just recently, I just heard the Sani. They have like 3 ingredients. I would have to look it up. And it was like one of them was like a chloride that makes you even more thirsty.
Wild.
Yeah,
like, salt.
Yeah. I'm like, yo, I love the Sani, but I never knew. I never knew.
I don't really drink it that much. It's very rare that I have it. So
see, like I hate Zephyr Hills. Like I always felt Zephyr Hills has like an aftertaste. But
an aftertaste of racism and discrimination and injustice.
It's in there.
And I only say that because I've driven through that area. It's uncomfortable. If you really knew it's nothing like what they show you on the bottle. It's not serene and peaceful.
Wow.
You and then the people there they look at you differently, especially as a black man. Yeah. You don't feel comfortable drinking that water. What are you doing?
Shout out to everyone. Poland Spring.
Yes.
For me, Deer Park water and Poland
Spring
Springs
water
are
is the
two
way to go.
best.
Yeah.
Deer Park.
Yeah, Deer Park is nice, but then again, I ain't been to Deer Park, so I don't know. You could go down there, and there could be a whole different thing going
You
on.
have eyes looking ass people over there.
Phantasm was actually shot in Deer Park, and that's another.
Break my heart, man. Break my
Raw
heart.
footage they used in the film, actually.
Yeah, but shout out to Zephyr Hills.
Yeah.
Scary racist place.
Like the majority of Florida.
Word. Or that's what I'm like. Listen, anything outside of a town or city centers, pretty
There's
much
like 3 cities in Florida that are like actually diverse. The rest of it is
But you know what?
Country.
And
despite that fact,
Yup.
I was talking about it
Yup.
with my mother today. Like, if I had an option of moving to Texas or moving to Florida, I'd go to Florida. I don't know. Texas just seems like extra. It's the cowboy hats or something. They just seem more like, oh, we're gonna get you. It's like, no. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what it is? There's so much that you'd have to, decompartmentalize out of it and unpack. You have a denial of people sitting in Texas. People
Yup.
sit there with last name Lopez,
Word.
but tell you that Mexicans need to go back to where they came from. But no, sir. You are generationally Mexican. This is your family.
Yeah.
And they will sit
The city's
there
name
and
is El
hold
Paso.
strong to that.
What English word? Yeah.
Well, I'll say that I'm not at all surprised. At the end of the day, even if they have roots outside of traditional American Anglo-Saxon roots, European classism still rules supreme, and that goes for people who have, like, for in this example, Latin roots. It doesn't matter. That classism rules supreme. So if in that bubble, being Anglo-Saxon and identifying with those people, that type of group in particular, or whatever they think the elite is, that's what they go for. We see that in Miami. And the same Miamians, even though they're not the same, they're not the same types of Latin people. They're not. They're different. Yet, you'll see commentary about migrants coming in illegally, where it's like, well, that's them over there. We came for different reasons, and they need to go back. And it's like, yo, dude, they're leaving for economic strife and they're fleeing violence. They're leaving the same reason you leaving. So why would you say that they can't come in here? They're illegals, this and that. But yet that classism kicks in, and when they have that little bubble that protects them, then all of a sudden they start turning up their nose. So it's like with certain groups, you really have to dig in. You can't, and unfortunately, us as Black people, we hit this wall a lot. We think, oh, because they're people of color, or and I put that in quotations because at the end of the day, it's like there's a lot of nuance to that, and it's like, oh, just because they're people of color, they're gonna understand your cause. It's like, no, people understand their shit. They don't really care about your stuff. And if it doesn't impact them directly, if they're in a space where they can kind of separate themselves from the group that's oppressed, they do that. They'll do it. So even with other Hispanic or Latinx, or even though Latino people don't say Latinx,
they don't.
they really don't. That's like talking heads. They don't at all. But yeah, with other groups, if they practice the same classism, the same racism at home, over here, in their neighborhoods too. I'm not gonna say in broad sweeps that it's all of them, but yeah, you do a look at the demographics to see how many of them vote certain ways and believe in certain things. Then you realize, like, oh, okay, you're not down the way I thought you was. No, they're not.
A sobering reality.
No.
That'll.
Mm-mm. And that's fine and good, but it's like, yo, but the reality needs to be there. It's like, I'm not gonna tell people what to think and what to believe, but I know there are certain principles that I believe in and universals that I believe in. But I also realize too, like, people do pick and choose, and if it's good for them on the other side, they will choose that side.
That's that. You know, that brings
They
up a
do that.
question. Do you think that any deed that's being done, good, you know, anything that's deemed, oh, this is good for the good of this, for the betterment of whatever, do you think that every good deed has an ulterior motive? Like, or do you think it's just all altruistic, where they're like, no, this is for the betterment of the world, this is for the greater good, or is it like, yeah, it's for the greater good, but I saw Stacy, she was looking at me, you know what I'm saying? If I do this, you know, I'm getting them drugs, you know, it's just like, or you know,
I think I think it's like life. It's always there. There's always a flip. Even in good, genuinely good gestures, there's always a flip
mm,
side to everything. There,
I think there's always a look for a benefit.
yeah,
You know,
Opportunity.
they don't get me wrong. Yeah, it is good to do good things, but at the same time, if it's too much of a cost to you,
right.
you might not go ahead and get involved. However, if there's a plus to it,
Mm-hmm.
Stacy's gonna say hey to you, and she might be willing to go to Sizzler or Applebee's or something like that. Then maybe you might be more inclined to go ahead and make something happen.
Nah, like it makes you wonder, like all the greater good things that have been done, like the I can't even think of anything crazy right now off the top of my head. But any peace treaty, well, peace treaty, no, that's something else. It's like, no, we need people to stop dying. This is definitely for the greater good. Stop.
even those
No,
come
it's
with
not.
even those come with
No, it's not.
stipulations
Mm.
and have under like on the surface is it's meant for this, but then in reality they're doing something else. Like matter of fact, a perfect example of this is Germany giving Namibia, I think it is, or Tanzania. I have to look that up and forgive me if I'm saying it incorrectly. They gave them some BS chump change reparations of
Mm.
$1 billion when it's like y'all till this very day have been saucing this nation out of their natural resources for well
Wow.
over a century, which is well more than $1 billion. Is like like one person I was reading his comment. There was like, "Yo, one of these billionaires could spend that on stripping." Like that little chump change they gave that nation.
The
Like
real
that's a joke.
real shit. What Germany owes, was it you said Namibia?
I had to look. Let me look that up.
Yeah, but what Germany owes that country is the country of Germany. Okay?
Basically, seriously.
Like, yo, come
So
on.
I think there was another one that was like that.
yeah. So what it looks
What was the one? What's the country that's good for famous for its chocolate?
like Switzerland.
Yeah, I just saw
Well, yeah,
that.
Switzerland. Switzerland was another country that did that as
Ghana.
well.
Yeah, I
Ghana
seen
or
that
Mali?
Malia
where
posted
they
something
came for
about
the
that
it
the
was
other
they
day.
went to Switzerland. I gotta look who it went to.
Namibia, 1.3
Namibia.
billion in Namibia, and I'm like, yo, what y'all own Namibia? That ain't it. Like you crazy?
Give them
$1.3 billion. That they're technically, if you really look at it, underhandedly, they're not really gonna get. So it's just like it looks good on the surface. Oh, we're gonna right the wrongs of the past. I'm like, first of all, it's BS money, and they're not gonna really get it when you look at all the strings that are attached and who's running what, and the fact that I believe who it was a YouTuber who kind of put me onto some of this information. It's like even though I don't want to repeat information that I don't know for a matter of fact, but just like yo, there's a good 2/3 of the land that's still technically owned
My God.
by Germany. So, what did you give back?
Yeah,
You know,
performative.
it's,
Just like you say, it's performative. It looks good on the
yeah,
surface.
it's
Yeah,
symbolic
shaking
BS,
hands and
and
smiling.
some theorize that it's to save face and to kind of warm Africa back to Europeans since China's digging in has been already digging into Africa for so long. But it's like none of this stuff is genuine, man. If you really want to give it back to people, get out.
Facts.
You want to give Namibia its reparations?
Even
Get out.
as a matter of fact,
They ain't gonna do that.
the country we were speaking of, Reg, was Ghana. Ghana has the natural cacao that
Ghana.
Switzerland and their famous chocolates and US and their famous
Okay.
chocolates and whoever, they just give it to them and then they get a fraction of the cost.
Mhm.
And it's like, no, we're not giving it to you anymore. You need us and we're gonna do it for ourselves. And it's like, that's right. That's right.
Yeah. Yeah, that palm oil,
Shea butter.
shea butter. It was like, yo, every lotion in here that you have in the store is coming out of there. Every cell phone has nickel from Africa. Like, yo, what they owe Africa? You need to just give them a continent on top of what they have. Fully Wakanda ready.
Computer
Wakanda ready
chips.
to run
It's
for
never
a
gonna
break.
happen.
It's like
It's not going to happen, and ultimately it's because the resources are too vital and too important to these European countries, and they're especially concerned with what's going on with China, with the way that China keeps pushing itself
buying up
into these
land.
African countries, loaning them money, buying land,
In Jamaica
loaning
now.
them, energy resources, trying to build infrastructures. They're not building the infrastructures for the Africans that are there in these countries. No, they're building those infrastructures so that they can go ahead and ship their own people in. There was a little clip that I saw the other day on Instagram of a plane that was headed into Africa.
All Chinese
And
people.
on the full plane, it was Asian, all Asian, Chinese. And it's like there was one black man, and they're all headed in.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, they already have a plan. And it's not that they're trying to work to help the people there. No. There's more than 1 billion plus people sitting in China, and they need somewhere else to stay. So they're going into Africa.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and it's not the first time that we've seen this. You've seen this in Jamaica. We've seen this and in many other places in the Caribbean as well, even in the United States. In the early days of the 1900s, 1930s, in the gold rush, when the Chinese first came over, initially then.
Yeah.
So I'm not surprised. This is part of what the Chinese do. And for Europeans, this is absolutely scary because now you're going to have another color people that's going to take over.
Yeah.
And it's like your entire life, all you do is just get colonized. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, for real.
The thing is, though, it looks like China works a little differently than the way New York. I mean, I said New York. The way Europe comes into continents and just basically level shit, and then just stick their flag on it. Like China, okay, basically Europe, they'll shoot you. China massages you to death. That's kind of how they work. You know what I mean? So they kind of, since they're in there building infrastructure and giving people money, yo. Like looks like the way they're working, they're making mad people comfortable, yo. You know what I mean? So it's kind of hard to compete with China right now, yo. It's very hard to compete, especially for Europe, especially with Europe's track record. They have a track record. And let's not even front now. Low key, Europe got their tactics from China. The way they steamroll through the world, they learned a lot of that shit from China.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. It looks like China's strategy, just Europe just can't keep up with, and they have the advantage of not having a shitty ass track record with the rest of the world.
I don't know. I reserve some caution only because I'm like, yeah, while we may not have seen them wreak havoc in all over the world like Europe has, but they put some heat on South Asia. They were not merciful and good benevolent people with other outsiders either. So I think it's the same dog eat dog world mentality when it comes to that.
And I know that for sure.
Yeah.
For sure, when you think about many countries in Africa, there have been uprisings against the Chinese because once they come in and they treat the locals different, and because they have that financial power and they come in, they disrespect, they come in and start putting hands on people and whatnot. So that I know for sure that's been a problem. Yeah. And a lot of African nations are saying, hey, we can't take this money in good faith because we feel that, if we take this money, you're going to start acting funny. You're not going to, uphold to the promises of taking care of the people here. You're going to start bringing in your cousins your cousins, and you're gonna leave us out
Mm-hmm.
here, without any gains.
I don't know what come come back to reality the continent needs, but it's like, my God, stop letting others come in and take over your junk. Like, please,
Mm-hmm.
please. I know it's much more complicated. There's levels to this stuff, and it's not an easy answer and just say, oh, just fight the power. I know that. But God, oh my God, I'm like, please,
Well,
something.
ultimately, I think what's happened with in Africa being so unique, because you have, generationally, dozens of different tribes that never got along, initially, which was easy to go ahead and confuse them once the Europeans came in and kind of broke things up too. But we never got on the same page.
Yeah.
And if that were to happen, where everybody was on the same page and everybody worked together and said, hey, we're not going to let these Europeans, or we're not going to let these Asians come in here, and we're going to, hold on to our resources, just like what, happens with like the UAE or any of those countries, where they say, hey, we have the resources here. We're going to hold on to it, and we will control the market, and we'll give you as much as we want to. We may give you a
And
lot
you're gonna
one
take
day.
it.
We might give you a little another. But because you're gonna take whatever we give you, and you're gonna pay us our money, and that's how they've done it with oil, and that's how they were able to go ahead and control that. When you thought about it, for example, maybe 2-3 years ago, when Russia decided to get into the oil market, and they were doing fine, and the oil was really low, and they were doing okay, and the U.S. was trying to get in with the fracking that they were
Yeah.
doing, and they were, and we thought we were going to be great, and a lot of companies started to go ahead and buy in and start going that route. Well, the UAE decided, okay, we're going to flood the market with cheap
I
oil.
remember that. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I remember.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Gas was almost a
prices were
dollar 79.
really low.
Great times.
There was gas galore, and they
Hmm.
flooded the market hard. That shut down anything that was going on. Russia got out of the market. We got out of fracking. Right now, we're thinking it's not even worth fracking or doing any of that stuff to go ahead and get that oil. We're just gonna, go another route. We're gonna go,
Which still won't
with
happen.
electric.
Yeah.
But they control it. But they still have the power. And even now, they still control it. And hey, you want oil from us? We tell you how much, and we hold on to it. Once Africa has an understanding of their resources and says, hey, we're going to do the same thing. You want the cacao? Okay, well, this is how we're going to hold the market. No cacao leaves here ever. You want it, you're going to get we're going to process it here. If you want your Cocoa Puffs, it's going to come out of us first. You want your
You
Kit
want your
Kats, it's
coffee
coming out of
beans.
here
You want your
first.
computer chips. Look at the PlayStation shortage.
Mm-hmm.
You want your
Yep.
diamonds, you want your gold, you want any of that stuff. Well, it's coming out of here first. And if you try to go ahead and say, oh, well, we have our own, we'll flood the
Mm-hmm.
market and make it useless to you. And then we'll come back and then bring up the price up again. Once you start playing hardball, that's how you make Africa strong.
Honestly, I believe Africa will have to be willing to go through a war to be able to do that.
Yeah.
They already gone through war.
Yeah.
And you already have an issue with North Africa, with the Arabs that are trying to come in and take over and dominate those resources up there, spreading out from the Middle East. So that's already playing into that. You got Libya and Egypt. They're slowly but surely claiming those
Tunisia
Arab
too.
states.
Tunisia. Yep.
So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
so that's going to be problematic. But
Yeah.
if they were to go ahead and try to do some war and I hate to even say the word, but cleansing.
They are.
Don't take it that way. But if they were to go that route, there would be a big change in Africa.
Yeah.
Big change.
Yeah.
It'd be messed up. It's going to be a lot of bloodshed, But yeah,
You don't think that's like something at least a century's worth of work?
My goodness.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But the best day to
That's
start
true.
is today.
That's true.
Well, Red,
That gives our kids at least a fighting
Goodness
chance to at
gracious.
least see the change. You know what I mean? Because we're not gonna live through it, so we can only start the fight if
What?
anything.
Yeah, but I think Africa's getting a clue on it. I think for example, even with the influence that coming out of China, and the fact that they are building those roads and infrastructures. Once those things are set up, even though there is this Chinese influence and they're there, that does not necessarily mean that they can take over like they did with the
Mhm.
Europeans in like places like South Africa. Because now you have a place that has these powers and resources that's fully strong, where the Europeans don't have that influence anymore, and are started to be looked at as a problem.
hmm.
So, and it's a different area within Africa, so
You
that
know
could
what,
also
man?
play
I don't know
into it as well.
why it would. I mean, the fact that it would take that much convincing to see something that's happening in front of people's eyes. It's almost like the court cases here where they even had a trial for the George Floyd case, the Derek Chauvin thing where it's like, let's look at
Mhm.
what's good. What do you need to look at? this what do we need? What are we agreeing upon here? I mean, there's no, yeah, it's clear cut. It's right here. Like you see the takeover slowly happening, and it's like these people are not native to our lands. They weren't here a year ago, a week ago. Something's up, guys. Let's come together and be like, "Hah." Come on, man. Like,
Well,
Well, can you say for New York then the gentrification, like that happened slowly but surely. You probably didn't even notice when it first started. It was one by one, and then all of a sudden, I went 5 years later. I'm like, what is this place?
mm,
You know,
it is a trickle.
you know what I
You know
mean?
what? I really it tripped me out. I was completely surprised. I went maybe 2 3 years ago, and I hadn't been in New York in years. And it was after, I don't know if you remember, Funzy, that one time that we went to New York.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe we went like 15, 14, 15,
Oh yeah, I
and
remember that.
we were in the middle of the hot zone. And then to go as an
There's a
adult,
bunch of people riding
you're
on
like, what the hell
bikes
is
and
this?
wearing fedoras.
There's rainbow
Exotic
donuts
coffee
and bagels.
shops.
You know,
Munch.
yeah, there was a
All different.
supermarket where there used to be an
Mhm.
abandoned
It's
factory.
fascinating.
Abandoned warehouse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was shocked, and I was even like, hey, it doesn't seem that bad. The traffic was horrible, but it seemed like
Yeah.
something I could, dig. But although, I know people are gonna hate me for saying it, but honestly, I honestly believe this: gentrification of New York was probably for the better.
For
And I know people gonna hate me on that.
Infrastructure wise.
Yeah, infrastructure wise, yes. Living wise, yes. But it's just like the gentrification, the change
Right.
itself is not bad. It's the who gets to partake in it,
After
who
it's
gets the
all said and
benefit.
done, it's like, all right, we fixed it up. Everything's great. Low crime rate. This is okay. Everybody else, you can't enjoy this now. Who was here originally? Get out of here. So, oh, it's good now.
Yeah.
You see, and this is where I'm gonna disagree with you. I still think a lot of people that got the money and it's a good time to go ahead and leave. Why would you want to stay there? You didn't want to stay. Nobody wanted to be there in the 90s.
Mhm.
Like, okay, yes, you fixed up a couple of buildings, but ultimately, a lot of places in New York still smell funny. Things are still overpriced. You still, you paying thousands of dollars for, to live in pretty much a closet.
Yeah.
Hey,
That's
move.
that market nonsense because it's not the true
It's
value
not
of
yet.
things is not these prices. It's because
Yeah.
But ultimately, what I'm trying to say is like, look, this place is not really what people say it is. Just a place. You can move anywhere else and get much more for your dollar and be much happier and have much
I mean,
more
I think it's
room to
more
go
the
ahead and do it in.
ambiance and the lifestyle. Like that's the appeal. Like I could move to Stone Mountain,
Yeah.
Georgia, and buy a 3-bedroom townhouse for like
Uh-huh.
$150,000, and it's like this is great. But then it's like, all right, what are you doing on the
hmm
weekends? Oh, wait, isn't my favorite music artist coming to? No, they don't come to your city. Damn. I guess I got to drive the nearest big city to go see. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Atlanta.
or you got to wait for some kind of event,
Atlanta.
or like you don't get that kind of lifestyle stuff. It's like you'll be sitting pretty in your 3-bedroom house with nothing to do because that's all you got. You know. So,
Here's where we're at, and this is something that I've noticed. Whenever there's a black community that starts budding anywhere, and the entertainment will follow.
Of course.
The people
mm,
will go ahead and come
Let's
that
be
way. Like I think about living here in South Florida. You know, when I came here in the '90s, the early '90s, like the late '80s, there weren't
hmm
no black people really around. But then the white flight happened, and they all left. The island people started coming in. The culture came, you know, and people started to come on in. And what I'm trying to say is, look, don't feel that you got to hold on to whatever because in New York or wherever and live that kind of harsh lifestyle and deal with that when you could go anywhere else and look, the
yeah,
culture will follow. You'll get whoever's the latest, newest, greatest artist to come down to wherever it is if there's a whole bunch of you living in that area, because now not only are y'all living in that area, there's a great opportunity for you guys to go ahead and build
hmm
wealth in the community and build up a whole new community in the
But how
vision of
long would
what you
something
want to
like
see
that
it
take?
as.
What if you move? Yeah, you got to start,
You
but
have to start. And my thing is, for example, when you heard a lot of people
hmm
selling their homes out in NY and taking that money, that $2 million or that $1 million, and moving into Atlanta, they went out and bought their mansions or whatever, or
hmm
they got the money. So now these people are living in these communities. Those artists that they talking about, that culture, that all came with them. There are all kinds of parties and things and celebrations and foods and trucks and restaurants and clothing lines. All that stuff came. And those communities are there where
hmm
they are building the wealth. So it's like, okay, do you need to stay in New York? No, New York is nice. New York is wonderful. And I'm not going to take away from that. But to be real with you, it's
absolutely.
overpriced for what you're getting. Whereas if you start somewhere else or move somewhere else, you can get in on something that's already going elsewhere.
hmm
Tampa's starting to pick up real hard. I mean, it was
Yeah,
picking up when
completely
we
different.
left,
When showing up
and
in
it's
the late '80s to early 2000s, you're like, yo,
mhm.
your favorite artists barely come here. You got to drive to another, and then now it's
Yeah,
like
why would
it's
you want
definitely
to?
on there. It's like there's 3 places they gotta go: Jacksonville, Tampa, and Miami. It's like, damn, they're a must stop, a must see now. It's like, damn, growing up, it was
Yeah,
trash.
yeah. You had to drive 4 or 5 hours to get somewhere to find a good plate of food. To go ahead and listen to a concert that you really wanted to be at. You ain't got to do that no more. And what I'm trying to say is that look, generationally, we don't have to stick in New York to have our culture. There's so much stuff happening elsewhere we can get in. Like DB, like DB, I get on this case all the time. I'm like, yo, when you can hit me up with an application, let me get in on that job up there. All that, I just I'll come up with
Shout
my
out to
resume and my
Columbus.
references and everything. And you know, and Columbus ain't bad, and the prices for homes out there ain't bad. You get enough of us out there,
Can't say it, man. You can't say
going
it on
ahead and starting
air.
up.
It's ruined.
Strike that part out.
Can't
That was
say
Mr. B
it.
with the potential. But the thing is, I don't think people have that kind of patience. Like, look how long it took for Tampa to get popping. If I go somewhere now to wait for someone to get popping, I don't care who the latest artist is. I'm sitting in my house. Okay, it's got to be something where it's like this is for the future. It's like, are you really gonna feel like it's for the future now? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Well, let's be real. We're in our late 30s now. We're not
Exactly.
going anywhere because it's popping.
No,
We're
definitely not.
going we're going places because
Establish.
we're trying to, go
Exactly.
ahead and be financially stable and establish ourselves so that we can, be comfortable as we
Exactly.
approach and embrace death.
Comfortably.
So, yeah, comfortably. We want to be comfortable when we're close to that. We don't want to get mugged and stabbed in the street. We're not trying to die by pit bulls that were left in somebody's apartment unattended, and now they're hungry and they caught us in the hallway.
But
We're not trying to have crackhead Jimmy get
Well,
us.
I see what Frenzy's coming with it because I've been here for what 5-6 years now, and then there's nothing that drives me to go outside. Hey, I want to go do this. You know what I mean? I want to go do that. Whereas Miami is like, oh, I just want to go chill by the beach, or it's that type of lifestyle. If I want to live, a calm, just chill, relax. You know what I mean? I can find those things. Here, it's like I have to stretch and really go out
Or
of the
Art
box to really think
Basel.
of activities to do. Like when people come in, right? Like just having Winwood, just having these types of areas ready to go is nice. Because when I have guests over here, they're like, all right, what do you got to show me? Oh, there's a soccer team here, but they're not playing right now. And then we can go for a hike if yeah. No? All
Okay,
right.
but that's
That's
that goes
literally how
back.
it goes.
But that goes back to exactly what I was saying. When you get in, like, let's say, I decide to move up there. Nikki decides to move up there. Greg goes. Now you have a little community. It doesn't feel as bad. But now, as people start to see, hey, you got a little thing going on, people will come. Just like now, it's starting to change up. There are a little more things to do. You probably don't know about them, but give it 5 to 10 years, boom, you have a little thing here. People are starting to come and want to be out here in Columbus and see what's up. But you got in, you already bought, a place when it was, cheaper to do so, where people didn't even realize that this was the place to be. Which is what I'm saying. A lot of those people out of New York that are getting bought out and they're like, oh, well, I can't enjoy New York. Don't enjoy New York. Nobody wants to enjoy that right now. You can go ahead and start up and build your own art gallery out, in Columbus. You can build your whole art scene. You can build a whole food scene if you want to. You could do whatever is out there. And nobody can really stop you, and it wouldn't cost you as
That
much to
cost
do it.
effectiveness, man.
New York is oversaturated.
That's where I'm at.
But
So I think some people have the ability to be able to move and adapt to
It's
anywhere
true.
they go.
yeah.
Some people are the small city life person, or some people are the I want the action. I want to see things. Like me, I like to see action. I like to see moving bodies. I don't get that feeling here. That's why I say in the next couple of years I have to leave. I need somewhere that's a little bit busier, not as quite as New York or California, but I need to see life. I want to see people moving around. I want to be able to do something whenever. And I'm not gonna say Columbus doesn't have it. You know what I mean? But if I was to go up to Cleveland, that would be something else. There's the community is there to start from zero, and to say even if it does get created there, there's nothing to say that it's gonna happen. I can have all these people come here just to make it easier, but it doesn't mean that we're getting these activities that we're trying to set up for, that we're anticipating. So it could have been, for a waste. You know what I'm not to say waste,
Exactly.
because you still having whatever your family there. But what happens if that happens? It's like, okay, I don't want to live here no more. You got to move again. Now you're trying to go back to New York.
If you say
or
you don't got a
wherever.
sports franchise of any kind, I'll watch any sport. And if you don't got that in your city, at least, or I could be like, oh, I'm gonna go catch a game. I ain't with it. Yeah, I'm out. I'm sorry. Oklahoma. Well, no, they got the Thunder. Oklahoma City. Let me see. Iowa. Iowa got nothing. I can't go to Iowa. I'm sorry.
Iowa guy is big on
I don't
college
like college
sports,
sports.
ain't
I'm
it?
sorry, NCAA.
College.
If it's not my school, if it's not my alma mater, I don't care. Really.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, but I was gonna make a point about New York though. Really, the thing is though, it's very hard to recreate the same appeal that New York has because, first of all, New York is in a very convenient location. Geographically, So they have a huge port, and New York literally does not shut down. I mean, until recently, but literally, New York is open 24 hours a day, every single fucking day. Like you can't, and there's not many cities based besides like Miami.
Port.
Miami's like
Any
that
port
too.
thing where it's like, man, you could eat whatever, you can get
And
whatever.
that's ish.
Yeah, there's anywhere that
That's
touches
ish because
water.
Miami does close.
The thing is,
New York is all of New
Mhm.
York. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
what were you saying? No, what were you saying about Miami?
Not Miami.
No, I was going to say it's all of New York, but it's just like a tip of Miami. That's you know, just like how you saying, those main cities.
It's
Yeah,
not.
Yeah, but but New York.
Yeah.
The thing is with New York, yo, there's no other city you can think of for real where you can, if you want a tiger, if you want to buy a tiger at 3 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday,
You gotta hit up some dude in
tiger
Chinatown for that. Yeah.
at 3 o'clock in the morning. Yo, I'm just saying word though. But like, but that's the type of city New York is. Like, you can literally get anything you want from any part of the world at any time you want to get it. Not many cities can do that. Besides, like, maybe, okay, I don't know what other city you can compare to New York, maybe, unless it's a city in another continent, maybe like Shanghai or something like
You took
that.
the words right out of my mouth. I'm like, Shanghai's the only one I can think of.
You
that's
know?
like that.
So, but I do understand as well, like, you can still bring some level of charm that will attract people, and the people is what brings the flavor is in the people, not the
area,
not
itself.
the area itself. So, I mean, but you have to be patient. You have to be willing to accept, like, you might not be able to see it turn into the thing you wanted to see, or you might not be alive by the time it turns into the thing that you wanted to experience. You got to have it for your grandchildren, you know. So that's kind of what we have to accept, you know. If we want something that's for us like that, we just gonna have to do it for the grandkids, yo.
Okay, so what happens if I don't want no kids? I want to be greedy now.
Move to New York.
So what am I
Let's go,
supposed to do?
baby. It's already set up. You got sports teams, anything you want, baby. We got the Tigers.
You go on some kids.
And not everybody gets caught up in the legacy thing. I was like,
but that's the point. That's how you keep wealth.
Yeah,
that's how you keep it. So yeah.
Yeah, if you care about that, or you can give it
the Boys and Girls Club in next to Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Yeah. I'm donating all my wealth.
There's a lot. Yep, there's a lot of people out there that do not want kids. You know what I mean? They don't.
Let me tell you something about those people that sit there and say they don't want kids. There's one thing they don't leave in there in the equation. What you gonna do when you get old and sick? Who's gonna take care of you? And you say, "Oh no, I'm gonna take care of myself." Well, I'm gonna tell you this, because you know what? And I go over this. Look at a case. You know what's happening in China, where you have the elderly sitting there in cages in apartments. And this is a major problem, where they're sitting there in like kennel cages, and that's what they live in. And they call them, the coffins. And that's how they live the rest of their days, where they're sitting there in apartments, spending $100 for a week or 2 weeks to live in a little kennel. And that's how they sit there and, live with like 15 people to a 1-bedroom apartment with one toilet. Now you sit there, that can't happen. Yeah, that's on the good side. Now, when you old here, when nobody checks in on you when you sick, and they find you three years later, you just decomposed in the couch.
Yeah, that happens, but
quite often.
I don't have to say your kids coming circling back to take care of you is not guaranteed, man.
That's why you have a lot of them. That's why you have a lot. Somebody's gonna take care of me.
Yeah. Somebody's gonna have the pity.
Somebody. That's why you have
kids. You can't afford insurance.
Hey, they still having kids.
Paying insurance. You're a parent. You already know. It's like a stack.
I can't afford any of my kids, but I'm still having them. Somebody got to take care of me.
Yeah.
Help.
I'm sorry, I've seen too many times. Some people, I've worked in nursing homes back in the day.
That is sad.
And those poor people are sitting there hoping their kids remember them and care for them. And they're there 5 minutes. Son's a stockbroker, has everything, can't spend more than 30 minutes with his mom and dip. And I was like, and it's like, and sees her like twice a year, if that. So I'm like, nah.
Yeah, and you know what that stockbroker does when he gets old?
To take care
He
of
marries
him.
a young woman.
Yeah, that's gonna shove him
to come take care of him like a kid.
Yeah, right. She gonna shove his ass in there too, and keep it and throw her fingers up and be out.
Or he doesn't marry her; he just keeps her around common law.
Only in New York.
He figured
Come
out
on down to the greatest city in the world.
Yeah, man. Yo, yeah, it's difficult, and with China's another extreme because they were so saturated. They came up with a solution that bit them in the butt after the fact with the imbalance between the men and women. And now that they bumped it up to 3 kids now.
To 3 kids.
That's banana. So
and that is not even mentioning the other rule. I thought there was some rule that you can only have boys or they can have only girls. Yeah. I didn't even hear if they said anything about that rule.
Sick, man.
Yo, China was on some next level shit for a long time, man. Really?
That's why I'm like, hey, people are like, oh, you see, it's better than Europe. I'm like, okay, I don't know about that. But
see, but like I said, you gotta see what those cages is like.
Yeah.
And see for yourself what it is.
I'm not trying to slander no group of people, but you know what I'm saying? I was like, listen, when it comes to certain powers, when it comes to their bottom line, shit gets ugly real quick. So, don't just think people come in and with benevolent intentions for you. It's like no, it's not. You need to keep your eyes open with stuff like that. So, I'm just saying.
All right, guys. That was a great podcast. That was episode 8. We were trying something a little different today. Kind of a drop-in, reel. So let us know in the comments how you felt about this. Do you like this style? Do you want to hear back the old style? Let us know in the comments. And I am Derek, logging off.
I am Relative Alex, a.k.a. Funzy. Good night, people.
Relative Nick, good night.
Relative Greg, good night, folks.
Relative Reg, y'all be easy out here.
Peace.